This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, today I'm going to discuss about the user administration, first day of the class, security. So, so to log in into the SAP system, so in desktop, we have to install the SAP GUI software. So once we install this GUI software, we just need to click on this app, GUI app, SAP app. So, and we have to configure the systems in this GUI. So how to configure these systems in this GUI? So we have to get these details like system ID, sys ID, so system server details and instance number, okay, system name from the respective vendor, or if it is an organization, so we will get these details from our fellow team members. So once we get these details, we will just click on the system and we will log in into the system with our user ID. Okay, so this is the way of logging into the system. Okay, so just click on the system, give the user ID and password. So once you've given the user ID, password, and client, you will just log in into the system. And once you logged into the system, so this is the SAP screen looks like. So all the commands are the decodes or as a I mean SAP is nothing but knowing the commands and transactions and how to execute these commands and transactions in the system. So that's all about SAP. So I have logged into the system. So with proper user ID and password and client name. So now my require for creating user IDs or modifying user ID, all the user related information. So we have to execute a transaction. SU01 is the transaction for user administration. So SU01 is the transaction for user administration. Just I'm entering SU01 and click on enter. So it will open in another screen with these details. SAP user maintenance initial screen will open. So here, this is the user ID column. Okay, so this user ID, I mean, from one character to maximum 12 characters I can create. So if you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 characters already completed. 10. That means 10, 11, one more character. Maximum 12 characters I can create. So beyond that 12 characters, I mean, I'm not allowed to create a user ID in the system. So maximum characters are 1 to 12 characters. Okay. So now I can create a user ID by using one character as well. So here alpha numerical. So I can use letters. I mean, I can use letters. I can use numbers. I can use special characters while creating the user ID. So there is no issue. So I can create anything. Okay. Just I'm creating one test user ID. Okay. Test 8 a.m. Okay. So this is the user ID I'm giving. So I'm just entering into the create button. I'm just pressing on the create button. The moment I press on the create button, so it will open another screen with all these tabs: documentation, address, logon data, SNC, defaults, parameters, roles, profiles, groups, personalization, license data. Okay, so I have to give a detail in each and every tab. So once I create a user, after giving all the details in all the tabs, and once I save the details, I have to communicate user ID and password to the respective user who asks the user ID. So what is our main roles and responsibilities here as a user administration? So it is all related to user maintenance activities like creating user, user modification in the sense I have already created the user and some modification need to be done for that user, so that will comes under user modification. UMR, user modification request like email ID, first name, last name, personal user address detail changes, user group changes, user deletion, deleting the user from the system, user locking and unlocking, user password reset, user copy. All this comes under user administration. So SC01 is T code for user administration. So SC01 tabs are, so these are the tabs: documentation, address data, logon data, SNC. You can see here all these tabs. Okay. So, and these are the options. On top of that, these are the options. These are the options: create, modify, change, and this is the modify means change, display, delete, copy user, lock and unlock. For both the same same symbol, password reset. Okay. So after giving the user ID, you can click, suppose if you want to lock the user, you will click on this lock symbol or unlock symbol. If you want to reset the password, you will click on this password reset symbol. If you want to copy this user to another user, you will just select on the copy. If you want to delete the user, you will just click on the delete option. If you want to display the user, you will just click on the display button. This is the change for modifying the user details. This is creating option. So now I'm creating the user. Okay, I'm just creating the user. So this documentation tab is given for, suppose, yes, suppose you joined in an organization. Okay, so you joined in an organization as a security team member. Okay. So once you join the organization, your HR details will be, employee details, email ID, everything will be created in the system by respect to team members. So once all these details has been created, so now you required for logging into the SAP system, you require credentials. Okay. So for getting user ID and credentials, so first you have to fill in user access request form. So this user access request form help security guys for creating the user IDs, okay, without any errors. So what is this UARF? UARF means user access request form. So what this URF form will help for user and security guys. So user will fill all the details like first name, last name, email ID, employee ID, which department, which floor, okay, who reports to, he is reporting to whom. So from which user he requires roles, reference username, okay, or else what are the roles he required. All these details filled in the UARF form. So you can see some of the samples in from the Google. What are the URF forms? So hardly it looks like this. Okay, I'm just taking a sample from Google only, not taking anywhere. Hardly it looks like similar to, not in the same way. It looks like hardly. So and don't assume that for all the all the users, all the companies will have same format. Okay, each company will have an different file format. Okay, each company will have a different file format. So first, employee department organization. So for which system you require production, which production system, that production names you have to mention, employee id which is created in the system, user id. So as I said, 1 to 12 characters is the user id. So that user id column also they have to fill, and post filling, or we will fill this user id column. So we will check, suppose we will check with first name and last name or employee ID as a user ID. So and date, okay, what the roles has been required, first name, last name, position, email address, from which date to which date. If he's a contract employee, so he has to fill as for his contract here. If it is a permanent employee, he will give a permanent validity. So if this is a new SAP and user ID, so is this employee replacing another SAP end user? Suppose if you are coming to organization in replacement of someone else. So if that is yes, we have to give the reference of the user first name, last name, and employee. So no product to SAP license required. Yes, provide the following information on employee being replaced. All SAP access for this employee will be removed. Old employee access will be removed and that access will be given to the new employee. Okay, and has the employee received the training for each role required? If yes, signature and authorization. And all these requirements has to be filled. So this is varies from one organization to another organization. So generally the form looks like that. Okay, so user has to fill the form. Okay, once user fills the form, okay, once user fills the URF form, so he will fill all the details and send it for approval to his manager, reporting manager. So reporting manager will review and approve the request. So once reporting manager and review and approve the request, so the roles which is requested by the user, those role owners also need to be approved the request. So once these role owners also approve the request, so finally with service request it reach to the security team. What security team will review? Security team will do. Security team will open that URF form, access request form, and create the user ID in the system. Okay, create the user ID in the system. So here first is the documentation purpose.
సార్
Okay,
యూజర్
this
నేమ్ ఎలా అయినా ఇవ్వచ్చా సార్, లేదా కొన్ని ఫార్మాట్లు ఇవ్వకూడదు అంటారు
Le-
సార్
le-
యూజర్ నేమ్?
le- le- Yes, username has to be given specific format that will be given the. I mean, while once you joins the organization, so they will give you an user ID naming conversation document. So I will let you know. For example, so some of the companies will follow user first name and last name. Suppose my first name is Jagdish, last name of the first character. This is my user ID. Some of the organization will follow. So some of the organization will follow. My employee ID is 21123. Okay, they will create with the employee ID. Some of the organization will follow first name and last name. Some of the organization will follow. I'm a support member, security member. So SUP underscore my name, first name. Okay. So all the characters within a 12 characters only. Okay. All the character
ఓకే.
should be within a 12 characters. Okay, some of the organization what they will follow, since email ID also getting created uniquely. Okay, so first once you joins the organization, your email ID will be created. Okay, Suppose my email ID has been created in this format: jack you all one at the rate, okay, so on so. Okay, so this is my email ID. Okay, for example. So under this email ID, so at the rate they will remove the company, and these are the letters, starting letters, jack call one, total 9 characters, right? So with this user ID they will create. Okay, so now here, so some of the organizations what they will follow for creating support users. We all are support users: basis, security, development, functional modules. Their user ID starts with sup, support, I mean support. And business users they will create with an employee ID. Okay, so who are the users are available in the system? Support team and business team. Apart from, if any audit teams comes, so the user ID naming starts with AUD underscore employee ID or first name or last name. So like this, we have to follow the naming conversations for creating the user ID. Okay, so this will be communicated once you join the organization. What naming conversations they are following in the organization for creating the user ID. So we have to follow the same naming conversations. Okay, so in this URF form itself, they will clearly give. So if this is an URF form Excel, okay, so if this is an I mean URF from Excel, so in another sheet they will clearly mention, if you so for business users you have to give an user ID column as your first name and last I mean first name and last name, or your employee ID. So, or else the Excel sheet will be formulated in such a way that once you enter the first name and last name, it automatically pick 11 characters from the first name and 1 character from the last name, and automatically fill the user ID column. So if you enter the employee ID, if you select your business user in the Excel sheet, if you enter the employee ID, so automatically that employee ID will be populated in the user ID form. So like that they formulate that user access request form. Okay, so once this request was approved, all the levels with ticket, so finally it reaches to the security team. What security team will do? Security team will simply log into the SAP system with their user ID and create the user ID in the system. Okay, simply they will log in into the system and create the user ID. So they have logged into the
ఆల్రెడీ
system.
యూజ్
సో ఆల్రెడీ యూజర్ క్రియేట్ అయ్యలేదు. సో ఇంకొక స్క్రీన్లో ఎక్కడ లాక్ అయి ఉంది యూజర్, ఆ స్క్రీన్ లాక్ అయి ఉంది. సో వాట్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు డూ, SM12, సో వేర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ లాక్. So this is the screen which is locked. If I delete this entry, so generally it won't happen. Very rare cases this lock symbols will come. So SU01. Yeah. So I'm creating this user. Okay. Under documentation tab. So I need to give the details. What is the purpose of the creating? What is the ticket number? On what basis I'm creating the user ID? So ఏ ticket number use చేసి I am creating the user ID. Those ticket details I will maintain here. Okay. New user ID creation. Just I will maintain the documentation purpose. Nothing is required on documentation tab. So under address data, so title, so whatever the title, Mr. Miss, whatever you want. So last name, if is in last name, first name, so title, if you want to give any academic title, language, okay, function, finance function, department, CO department, so room number, employee ID, floor, first, building, B7, okay, so telephone number, mobile number, fax number, email ID. All the details we will fill here according, I mean, so from the URF form లో ఫిల్ చేసిన డీటెయిల్స్ ని మనం ఇక్కడ అప్డేట్ చేస్తాం అడ్రస్ డేటా ట్యాబ్ లో. సో ఈమెయిల్, ఓకే. సో ఇది ఈ అడ్రస్ డేటా ట్యాబ్ లో ఓన్లీ వి విల్ అప్డేట్ యూజర్ అడ్రస్ డీటెయిల్స్, యూజర్ పర్సనల్ డీటెయిల్స్. సో అండర్ అడ్రస్ డేటా ట్యాబ్, సో అండర్ లాగౌన్ డేటా, user type. So the type, there are five types of users here. So I will let you know for each user type. So నేను ఒక్కొక్క యూజర్ టైప్ గురించి డిస్కస్ చేస్తాను. సో విత్ ఇన్ ఏ ఆర్గనైజేషన్, సో హూ ద ఇంటరాక్టివ్ యూజర్స్ ఆల్వేస్ విల్ బి క్రియేటెడ్ విత్ ఇన్ డైలాగ్ టైప్. ఓకే. సో అండ్ డైలాగ్, సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ బ్లైండ్ గుర్తు. సో ఎవరికైతే ఎంప్లాయీ ఐడి క్రియేట్ అయి ఉంటుందో ఆర్గనైజేషన్లో, ఆల్ యూజర్స్ we will create as a dialog type only. Okay. So then I will discuss with all these the user types. uh, so let me finish this part. So user type, initially I will select with the dialog, so that is the reason by default it will show only dialog type. If you want to create user type as an other type, so you can create as a different user type. So at that time you will come here and change the different type of the user. Okay. So and this is the password. So password will be 40 characters length, you can give anything. Okay. So and user group, suppose this user group tab is, okay, so this user group tab is, so we will have multiple modules in the system. Okay. So like FICO, okay, MM, SD, okay, WM, ABAP, security, okay, basis, audit users. So all these multiple modules are there in the, within a organization. So we will create different user groups here to identify user belongs to which area. Okay. So for example, if I'm taking a finance, so user groups will be created like this: FICO underscore SUP. That means this user group will be used for FICO support users. Okay. Another user group will be created as FICO BUS. That means business. So when we are creating the business user, actually he users logs into the system and execute the transaction. So for those users, we will map user group FICO business. So FICO support users, we will map a FICO support user. So like that, multiple groups will be created already in the system. Okay. So for basis, for security, security, development team, ABAP. So why only we are creating the user IDs directly for basis security developed ABAP team? Since we don't have any business users on security side, we don't have any users on basis side, business users from the basis side, we don't have any users development teams from the business side. We will have finance business users, SD business users, business users, but no business users from the basis side, no business users from security, no basis business users from the development side. So like that, they will create a user groups and make it available. You can see here. So the moment I click on this option, the moment I click on this option, okay, all these user groups are created in the system. Okay, admin, all group basis, all group FICO, all group OF. So like that. So GRC AP group, GRC FI group, GRC HR group, group, purchasing. Okay, all these risk management. So these are the groups are created in the system. So that is the reason it is showing here. So what we will do? So we will just click on any group here and make it assign. Okay. So this user group for authorization check. That means, so if I want to modify this user, first I should have this user group access. Then only I can modify this user group. So that is the reason it is showing as an user group for authorization check. So the group which you are maintained here, it will check for authorization when we are modifying this user. This is the validity period from date to date. So if it is in contract employee, okay, so the contract has been given only 6 months. Okay, so from September 1st to, okay, 28th February. So we will maintain the same dates, the contract end dates here. So we won't give full day, full access. So if user belongs to permanent user, then we will give access to the user permanently, like this, double line, double line. Got it? So this is the password column. Okay. This is the user group, validity from validity date, and user type. So this alias we will fill with the same user ID sometimes. Okay. Sometimes. So not regularly. Okay, sometimes in the sense some companies will follow, some companies won't follow. So security policies means if they defined any security policies designed in the system, we will just select for the respect to security policy from the respective project. So these are the some of the security policies. If you want to assign, you can assign the security policy. Okay, so but basically, we will fill user type, password, user group, validity from validity to. So once you fill these details, you need to save the user ID. Okay, I have created the user ID. Okay, so this is the I have created the user ID. So
సార్
this is the
క్వశ్చన్ సార్
login. Yes.
సార్ అది ఇప్పుడు ఒక యూజర్ కి మనం ఎస్ఏపి వాళ్ళు అంటే రోస్ ఇవ్వకుండా ప్రొఫైల్స్ ఎస్ఏపి వాళ్ళు న్యూ ఇచ్చాం అనుకోండి సార్,
Hmm.
వాళ్ళకి కొన్ని టీ కోడ్స్ ఇప్పుడు SSC4 ఇవన్నీ రెస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేయాలనుకో సార్, ఏమైనా పాసిబిలిటీ ఉంటుంది సార్?
స్టాండర్డ్ ప్రొఫైల్ ఎస్ఐపి వాళ్ళు ఎస్ఐపి న్యూ ప్రొఫైల్ అనేది ఫస్ట్ థింగ్ మనం అండి యూజర్కి.
ఎస్ సార్, అంటే మా ఆర్గనైజేషన్ లో అది చిన్న ఆర్గనైజేషన్ సార్, అందరికి డెవలప్ పాలిటిక్ ఎస్ఏపి వాళ్ళు న్యూ ఇస్తాం సార్. వాళ్ళు ఏమంటే ఏ
ఇచ్చేస్తారు,
పడితే అది చేంజ్ చేస్తాను సార్.
చేంజ్
ఇప్పుడు ఏమంటే
చేసేస్తారు,
ఓన్లీ అంటే క్లయింట్ ఓపెన్ చేయడం, క్లయింట్ క్లోజ్ చేయడం కూడా చేస్తాను సార్, వితౌట్
చేసేస్తారు. అవును.
బేసిక్స్ పర్మిషన్ సార్.
అవునవును.
అది
సో,
రెస్ట్రిక్ట్
ఇలాంటివి
చేయడానికి ఏదైనా
ఏం
పాసిబిలిటీ
చేయాలంటే
ఉంది?
ఒక సపోర్ట్ రోల్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకోవాలండి. ఎస్ఐపి న్యూ ప్రొఫైల్‌ని కాపీ చేసుకొని, ఒక సపోర్ట్ రోల్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకొని, దాంట్లో టీ కోడ్ దగ్గర రేంజెస్‌ని మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి మనం. ఓకే.
యాహ్!
ఆ రేంజెస్‌లో మనం ఎస్‌సిసి 4, ఎస్‌సి ఎస్‌సి09, నాట్ ఎస్‌సి0, ఎస్‌సిసి 4, ఎస్‌సి06 ఇలా కొన్ని ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్‌ని ఎక్స్‌క్లూడ్
యాహ్!
చేస్తాం ఎస్ టీ కోడ్‌లో రేంజెస్‌ని బట్టి.
ఓకే
ఓకే.
సార్.
ద మూమెంట్ వి ఎక్స్క్లూడ్, సో ఆ పర్టికులర్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ యాక్సెస్ కాకుండా మిగిలిన యాక్సెస్ మొత్తం వస్తుంది యూజర్కి. గాట్ ఇట్.
ఓకే సార్. ప్రొఫైల్ నుంచి అయితే మనం రెస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేయలేం కదా సార్?
ప్రొఫైల్ నుంచి అయితే స్టాండర్డ్ ప్రొఫైల్ నుండి అయితే వీ కెనాట్ రిస్ట్రిక్ట్.
ఓకే సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Okay, so we will discuss this. Okay, so I have created the user IDs and saved the user IDs. So what the details I have filled: documentation, address, logon data, I have filled. So this is the SNC field. So SNC field is used for secure network communication. Okay. So single sign-on, we can call it as a single sign-on SNC configuration. So here under this GUI, so the moment I click on the ECC system, నేను ఎప్పుడైతే ECC system మీద click చేస్తానో, what it is asking? So it is asking me to enter the user ID and password. So if I do the configuration in SNC, saying that some configuration need to be done, okay. So the configurations are basically like that: test 8 am, okay. So dot us dot something. Uh, it will show in this format. Suppose if it is an HCL, okay. So company name, so like that it will show. So and allow GUI password login. If you click on these two options and if we maintain this configuration and save, so the moment you click on this part while logging into the ECC system, when you just enter the system name, it will, without asking user ID password, it will directly route to the respective. You have to, it will directly log in into the SAP system without asking the user ID and password. So that is the reason we will maintain the SNC. Okay. So for example, so why I have to maintain this SNC? Why I have to maintain this SNC? Since generally, so for example, this is my landscape. Okay, this is my ECC landscape. So ECC will have development, quality, pre-production, production system. Okay, so BW, again BW is having development, quality, pre-production, production. Okay, so this the landscape what I have discussed in previous class, right? So again, so if in your organization having 10 systems, 10 into 4, total 40, plus development will have multiple clients like 100, 110. So again 10. So total 50 systems you need password. So, and you have to always remember the password for all these 50 systems. User ID will be common. Okay. If you keep same password for all 50 systems also, it will ask you, suppose for within after 1 month or 2 months, based on the parameters which are configured in the system, for each system, it will ask to reset the password again. So the passwords are frequently will change. Okay, and it will frequently ask you to change the password. And suppose you are creating a user ID in 30 systems, so each time you have to log in into the each system with user ID and password, and you have to create the user, and maybe there is a chances of forgetting the password. Okay, so again you have to wait someone to do the password reset in the system. So to overcome all these issues, okay, so SNC will be enabled for basic basis people and security team. so that without giving password they can directly log in into the system since they required all the systems access. So within your organization only security and basis team will have access for all the clients, all the systems in the organization. So to save time, but generally SNC will be enabled for the technical people, technical team, security team, and admin team, basis team. But so the clients nowadays, what they are doing, so they are enabling this SNC for all the users. Okay, excluding support members, they are enabling all the users. Suppose if my user database count is 30,000 in my production system, so 30,000 in the production system. Okay, so generally, how many password tickets you will receive on daily basis? So to reset my password, to reset my password. So generally, you will receive more than 100. If your database is a count is in, I mean, user source, user 30,000 unte, on average, you will get minimum 10 to 100 requests daily for password reset purpose only. 10 to 100 requests or asking password reset only. So to overcome this situation, what these people, business people are doing, so to reduce the number of tickets count, so they have to pay for each ticket. Okay, client has to pay for each ticket, ticket basis or agreement basis. Okay, so to reduce this count, they are simply enabling the SNC for all the users. They will enable SNC for all the systems, and they will create the users in the portal. Via portal they are providing access for SAP end users. So while logging into the portal, initially it will ask only one time password for portal login password. So user need to remember only one password, portal password. Once he logged into the system, he just click on the respective SAP, BW, HR, I mean GRC systems. The respective portal links will be automatically open, and he will do his transactions without depending on the password. Okay, so this is the way nowadays all the clients, mostly all big clients, they are enabling SNC. So domestic clients, small clients, they are not concentrate much on the SNC part. So but big clients, the who are the having user database is more. So definitely 100% they will enable SNC. So SNC, nothing we will do. So they will give a format like that. Suppose this is the format, so whenever you are changing, new user is coming, or whenever you are creating, so you have to change only username in this format. You have to only update the username. Suppose you are creating one more user with 9 a.m. So you have to update this 9 a.m. and you will uh, update the same. మనం ఏదైతే కాపీ చేసుకున్నామో అది ఇక్కడ అప్డేట్ చేస్తాం. That's it. So this is the SNC. Okay, the purpose of SNC. I hope all of you are clear, guys. Any doubts? So any doubts, Nagesh, Vivek, Santosh,
No, sir.
No, sir.
Kiriti?
No, sir.
Okay, all are clear, right? So this is the purpose of SNC. Santosh, if you guys have any doubt, please ask me immediately. Okay, so you can see. So we will maintain the SNC part here, and the next tab is defaults. So
సార్
defaults are
ఎస్ఎన్సి
nothing but
బై డిఫాల్ట్ లేకపోతే
ఏంటండి?
ఎస్ఎన్సి అనేది మనం నార్మల్ గా యూజర్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇవ్వట్లేదు సార్.
ఇవ్వం. నేను అదే చెప్తుంది. సో కొన్ని క్లయింట్స్ మ్యాండేటరీగా ఇస్తాం. ఇప్పుడు నేను క్లయింట్ వర్క్ చేస్తాను. నా క్లయింట్కి 1000 members యూజర్ డేటాబేస్ కౌంట్, నాట్ 1000 members, 1 lakh members are there in my client. Okay, so 1 lakh users database count ఉంటే daily if SNC was not enabled, daily ఎన్ని రిక్వెస్ట్లు రావచ్చు పాస్వర్డ్ రీసెట్ చేయడానికి?
చాలా వస్తుంది సార్.
So to reduce this count, what we will do? So we will just simply enable SNC. So if single sign-on was enabled, so users once they click on the system name, automatically without asking the password, they will direct it to the system. Okay.
ఓకే సార్.
So now I am changing the date. ఈ సిస్టమ్ మాట్లాడితే సో ఈ సిస్టమ్ టైం ఫ్రేమ్ చాలా తక్కువ ఉంది. అంటే ఐడియల్గా నేను సిస్టమ్ని కర్సర్ మూవ్ చేయకపోయినా ఏం చేయకపోయినా ఆటోమేటిక్గా లాక్ అయిపోతుంది. సో నేను వేరే సిస్టంలో లాగిన్ అవుతాను రేపు మార్నింగ్ క్లాస్కి. సో SU01. సో ఎస్ఎన్సి అయిపోయింది. డిఫాల్ట్స్, యూజర్ డిఫాల్ట్స్. సో బేసికల్లీ యూజర్ డిఫాల్ట్స్ ఆర్, you know about decimal notation, right? So you have to select the respective decimal notation, which is common for all the clients. Okay, so date format, what date format you want to select, you can select, and time format, 12 hours or for 24 hours, and here, so log on language, English, whichever language you want to. Okay, so and output device, this output device is the printer configuration. You have to give the printer name. Okay. So respective printer name need to be given here. Search for the printer, appropriate printer, and give the printer name. So generally they will configure local printer. So for all the users they will give a local printer name. So print now, delete after printout. Okay, so the logs will be, printer logs will be deleted. So time zone, you have to select the appropriate time zone. So if user belongs to Canada, so Canadian time zone, user belongs to our server time zone, we will select generally. So if a server is in Egypt, we will select the server time zone. Okay, so parameters, these are the defaults. So we have what we will maintain in defaults. So time zone, printer related configuration, decimal notation, date format, time format, that's it. Okay, parameter. Okay, so parameter values are basically if user while executing any transaction, if user want to make any particular field value will be field value as a default value which need to be pop up automatically. So we will identify those parameter IDs and we will maintain the default values here. Suppose if user wants, suppose I'm logging with my user ID. Okay, so let me show how parameter will work. Okay, so you can see SU01, my user ID is Jagdish. Okay, so div parameters, So some parameters are maintained here. So I'm removing these parameters. Okay. So saving. So I'm executing VA01 transaction. Okay. So in this VA01 sales organization, distribution channel, division is there. So when I execute the transaction, automatically, okay, some need to be particular division need to be pop up here automatically. Okay, so I want to add division a1 automatically so I don't want to select from the drop down. So this field value, when I'm executing the sales order, these values need to be pop up here automatically. ఆటోమేటిక్ గా వచ్చేయాలి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసేటప్పుడు. సో నేను సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుని వాల్యూస్ పిక్ చేసే ఆప్షన్, ఐ డోంట్ వాంట్ టు డూ దట్ థింగ్. సో ఎందుకంటే నేను ఓన్లీ ఏ1 సేల్స్ డివిజన్ మాత్రమే వర్క్ చేస్తాను. సో ఏ1 అనే వాల్యూ అనేది ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఫెచ్ అవ్వాలి. సో దీన్ని ఎలా కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తామంటే, సో జస్ట్ ఇక్కడ ఏ1 దగ్గర ఫంక్షన్ ప్లస్ ఎఫ్1 టైప్ చేయండి. టైప్ చేస్తే ఒక పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ అసిస్టెన్స్ అని ఒకటి వస్తుంది. ఇక్కడ టెక్నికల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మీద క్లిక్ చేయండి. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ పారామీటర్ ఐడి ఉంది చూసారా? వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ పారామీటర్ ఐడి? SPA is for division. So I'm just copying this parameter ID, control C. Okay, so and I'm maintaining here parameter ID. So division, so what I'm selecting default value, A1 is the default value. A1 and sorry, this I have to maintain to my ID, not the test user ID. So for open another window, you just create new session. So go to SU01, enter Jagdish user ID, click on change parameter. What is the parameter ID? SPA, parameter default value, A1, save. So now what I will do, I will re-execute my transaction SA01. So VA01 I am re-executing. So now it is automatically fetching, right? So previously with then a parameter value maintain చేయకముందు, సో VA02 కానీ VA01 ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసినప్పుడు, సో అక్కడ VA01 అనే ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఈ వాల్యూస్, డివిజన్ అనే వాల్యూస్, డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్ ఛానల్ వాల్యూస్, సేల్స్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ వాల్యూస్ డిఫాల్ట్గా రావట్లేదు. So the moment I maintain the parameter ID and parameter value over there, so these values are automatically popping up here. So who will give this parameter ID values? ఈ parameter ID, ఈ parameter value details ఎవరు ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తారు మనకి? So these values will be given by the బిజినెస్ ఆర్ ఫంక్షనల్ కన్సల్టెంట్. సో నేను మీకు ఇప్పుడు ఒకసారి చూపించాను. సో ఈ పర్టికులర్ ఫీల్డ్కి పారామీటర్ ఐడిని ఎలా ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలని. సో ఈ పారామీటర్ ఐడీస్ అనేవి అన్ని ఫీల్డ్స్కి ఉండవు. సిస్టంలో ఉన్న అన్ని ఫీల్డ్స్కి పారామీటర్ ఐడీస్ ఉండవు. సో కొన్ని ఫీల్డ్స్కి మాత్రమే పారామీటర్ ఐడీస్ ఉంటాయి. వాటికి వరకే మనం కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ చేయగలము. సో ఇఫ్ యూజర్ ఆస్కింగ్ default value for on free text, we don't parameter ID ఉండదు, no value can be provided. సో ఈ పారామీటర్ ఐడీస్, ఈ వాల్యూస్ ఏది మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి యూజర్కి అనేది, యూజర్ కానీ బిజినెస్ కానీ ఐ మీన్ రిఫరెన్స్ యూజర్కి ఉన్న వాల్యూస్ని, సపోజ్ సమ్వన్ జాయిన్స్ ఇన్ యువర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ within your team. సో మీకు ఏ ఏ పారామీటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఏ ఏ రోల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ద సేమ్ విల్ బి అసైన్ టు దట్ guy యాజ్ వెల్ సిన్స్ బోత్ ఆర్ వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ ద సేమ్ రోల్. ఓకే. సో రిఫరెన్స్ యూజర్ ఐడి నుండి కాపీ చేసి పారామీటర్ ఐడీస్ అనేది మ్యాప్ చేస్తాను. ఓకే. సో అప్ టు defaults, parameters, SNC, logon data. So finally roles tab. So ఈ roles tab లో so user will get an T code access. Suppose I am executing one T code. So from where I am getting this access? I am getting this access from the roles which are assigned to me. So if you see my user ID, you can see there are some roles was assigned to my user ID and some profiles are assigned to my user ID. So from profiles and roles, I am getting the access for SAP all. So I have what the roles SAP all and SAP new profiles. So generally these are the standard profiles which is delivered by the SAP. Why, if you assign SAP all and SAP new profiles to the users, they will get an all access in the system. They can do anything in the system. So to overcome this situation, so మనం అందరికీ వైడ్ యాక్సెస్ ఇవ్వకూడదు కాబట్టి what we will do, we will create roles and we will assign respective roles to the user so that user will have a controlled access in the system. సో రోల్స్ ట్యాబ్ ఆల్రెడీ ప్రీడిఫైన్డ్ అయిన రోల్స్ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం ఇక్కడ. సపోజ్ ఐఎమ్ సెలెక్టింగ్ వన్ రోల్ జెడ్ స్టార్ అండ్ సర్చింగ్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద రోల్స్ అవైలబుల్ అండర్ జెడ్ స్టార్. So I have assigned the role, okay, and saving the role. So the moment I assign the role, you can see here, ఎప్పుడైతే నేను ఈ రోల్ అసైన్ చేస్తానో రోల్కి అసోసియేట్ అయిన ప్రొఫైల్ ఆటోమేటిక్గా ప్రొఫైల్ ట్యాబ్ యాడ్ అవుతుంది. This profile is coming from Z role PRO. The role which I assigned is Z role PRO. సో మీరు ఎప్పుడైతే రోల్స్ ట్యాబ్ ఫిల్ చేస్తారో విత్ రోల్స్ ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఆ రోల్ కూడా అసోసియేట్ అయిన ప్రొఫైల్స్ ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఫుల్ అయిపోతుంది. సో అండ్ లేదు మీరు ఎస్ఐపి డెలివర్ చేసిన ప్రొఫైల్స్ యాడ్ చేయాలంటే మీరు డైరెక్ట్ ప్రొఫైల్ ట్యాబ్లోకి వచ్చి యూ కెన్ యాడ్ ద ప్రొఫైల్. ఓకే. సో దిస్ ఇస్ ద గ్రూప్స్. So and personalization license data. So this personalization data will fill automatically, no need to maintain here. The moment you create the user ID, it is going to be filled automatically here. So this is the user group. Under user group, you have to maintain the groups. So if user belongs to multiple region, so I am the user Jagdish Kolwan and I am doing the operations in India and I am doing the operations in sales, I'm in Bangladesh and Nepal as well. So I am belongs to three regions, three user groups. So under logon data, I will update primary user group. Under groups tab, I will update remaining two user groups, secondary user groups. And only authorization check will happen again as this primary group. So under the groups which I am adding, okay, under user group, these user group will not have any authorizations. Okay, so there is no authorization check for these user groups. Okay, so personalization will automatically fill this license data. So license data, SAP will provide multiple license types. Okay, so for each license type, they are going to charge some amount. Okay, so for basis, we have to give business suite professional. Security, we have to give business suite professional. For development team, we have to give a development team. So accordingly, business also will have fire shop floor user. Okay, so business users, professional 2, professional 4. So based on the approval from the license manager, the same license will show here in drop down. Tomorrow I will show you on another system. The respect to license type you have to select from the drop down, but as per the approval and as per the URF form. That's it. So these are all the tabs we have to fill while creating the user ID. So the same will be continued tomorrow. So modifying user, deleting user, copying user, locking, unlocking, password reset. So and leftover topics, uh, different type of user ID. I mean user types. So tabs. We have discussed about the tabs today. Tomorrow again tabs and user types and lock symbols. Okay. So and some important factors about the user related. So by this we will come to conclusion about the user administration part. So any doubts guys? So Kiriti,
No,
Vivek, Nagesh. Okay, so thank you
sir.
guys for joining the session. We will meet again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Okay.